Hey guys, this is Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC. Joining me is that guy, Tommy.
A very subdued that guy, Tommy. I've been dealing with the allergy attack all day. Y'all lucky I'm conscious.
Well, thank God we don't have a guest this week. And then we got Big Mike.
Yeah, I'm
What's
going to
up,
have no comebacks. Sorry.
Yeah, let's see what happens once we get rolling.
Yeah.
It's Big Mike, guys, and let me just tell you, the best way to teach a school week is to start on a Wednesday and be halfway through before you begin. Just saying.
Hacks.
Words to live by.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being a little patient with us. I know we're late getting started. I think we're all still We're still thawing out from Winter Storm Enzo Amore. That's basically what's going on. What?
No, I
Come
just
on.
assume we're like that friend. Like, if you really want them to be there on time, you have to tell them it starts like there. So we say we start at 9:15, but we're pretty consistent about getting this 9:30. So,
Like, I'm going to stop talking to my siblings.
well, I've seen you at wrestling shows, Tommy. If you don't work it,
To be fair, I have a sister who's later than me everywhere. My
yeah, but
oldest
she doesn't
sister,
go to wrestling shows. So
if she did, she'd get there later than I would.
sure. But they also wouldn't stop. They wouldn't wait to start shows for her either.
Oh, wait for me to start a show.
All the time. Marvel, look, you're not there. Marvel comes out, right, Jason? You're in the chat. I see you, buddy. And he's like, hey, guys, is he here yet? And we're like, he just left. So,
Yeah.
yeah, see? Sean
Well,
already.
anyway, as wrestling fans out there, how many of us, come on, show of hands, when they said it was Winter Storm Enzo, how many of us were thinking, how you doing?
Well, I mean, yeah, but that doesn't mean I want you to say it out loud. Just
Come
because
on.
you're right doesn't mean I want to hear it.
Well, that snowfall was definitely SAFWT sold.
Oh, yeah, they had gold there for a minute. Dude.
Look, not going to lie, like
Actually missed that group.
when I got the phone call from the school district that my wife teaches at, that my kids go to school, that there was no class on Tuesday. And then when I got the message from work that it was an inclement weather day, I was doing the Enzo Amore strut around the living room for sure. So,
I will say one other quick thing I didn't tell you before that, because I told you I got distracted with things this weekend.
Yeah.
I honestly forgot about the national championship game after all that. I woke up Tuesday morning and I was like, oh, crap. And like, Ohio State won. I was like, okay. But yeah, I was like doing other things.
Yeah, Angel, it was called Winter Storm Enzo. Exactly. It really was.
Yep.
And also, the one way to beat that is to skip one of the 3 days you have to go back. So good job,
Yeah.
too.
Jersey and you can't.
Yes.
Oh, we're on fire right off the bat, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, national championship game. Notre Dame just got started a little late. They fought back, but yeah, they don't get that onside kick. It was over, and it sure was over. So
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't see it.
Not
But that's-
onside kick. They had to make a stop. Yeah.
Ohio State was pretty consistent all the way through. So
Yeah.
got to give
Football
it to them.
talk. I had nothing to
Exactly.
do with this conversation whatsoever.
Well, today we're going to talk a bit about TNA Genesis. We will discuss any wrestling news that's out there.
Yeah.
And talk about a busy week of wrestling in the city of San Antonio on the national stage, guys. TNA Impact is going to be quite busy here in San Antonio the next couple days. And then we get Saturday night main event at the Frost Bank Center. So
there's no way no one from TNA shows up at main event, right? It's got to happen.
No,
Let's
I mean,
just
they
talk
were
about
there
it.
in Dallas. So
when we get to that discussion, I have
Yeah.
some ideas for sure. So,
Okay.
but yeah, when this got booked, we saw TNA was going to be here, and then WWE jumped on it. We're like, okay, this is cool. And then lo and behold, they make the announcement of the working relationship, and that has seemed to the formal working relationship, if you will.
So here's something interesting of note that I didn't see a lot of traction though, but I saw it on her personal Facebook page. Jordan Grace saying, "Gonna miss stressing you out," and it's a picture of pictures of Gail Kim.
Yeah, they pretty much confirmed after Genesis that was her last match with the company. They had a cake with her for everything. Gail had some nice words to say as well for
Was
Jordan
Tessa
Grace.
Blanchard invited? I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. That was right there. If I didn't say it, I'd have literally.
She was in the building.
Okay, I guess I do have some one-liners. Never mind, I take it back.
Yeah, so
I knew you would.
I guess that's sick.
I think it's safe to say Jordan Grace is WWE bound, probably as early as the Royal Rumble, if not a little bit sooner. We'll see.
Supposedly, she's already like working out at the Performance Center.
Yeah. Can I ask it's a serious question. Do you think there's any chance they make Tessa Blanchard world champion again, like they did last time?
Not with the fan reaction she got.
Okay, I seriously, I wasn't trying to joke because I was trying to make a joke about it, but I was seriously asking, do you guys think that they actually try to pull that trigger again?
Yeah, no, not for the men's, not unless something completely 180s and she gets back to that type of support, but she would need to publicly
take down a whole drug cartel. Basically, that's what it's going to take.
Pretty much.
You know?
I was going to say at some point show any kind of self-realization or remorse about things he was accused of, but don't think she really has ever done that. Also, I did have to shout out Sean for the real reason Notre Dame lost, because they didn't have Rudy.
There was a lot more to that, but yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of where it's at. Obviously, we'll talk about
Angel
the backlash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but also I have a Money in the Bank, as do several people. So be careful if someone presents you with the Money in the Bank briefcase. You must defend your title wherever you're at. Those are the rules.
Well, it's a Mission Pro title. Don't you have to have a replica of the Mission Pro Cup to be able to do that?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, we'll get into that discussion. A little bit of wrestling news out there. I mean, obviously, Corey Graves was back on NXT. Obviously, that's the discussion we had last week. No outlandish stuff was said. Just kind of said, I think the biggest thing he said was, I'm here where I need to be or where I belong, basically. But I think this is just a tidbit of it. I didn't get to watch Raw on Netflix because I was watching the National Championship game where Pat McAfee was actually. So I don't know who the broadcast team was for Raw this week. Because McAfee was at the.
That's a good question.
Yeah, McAfee was in Atlanta for the National Championship game doing the field pass work, which was hilarious because he's got a guy on the show that does a great Lou Holtz impression, and it was pretty funny. So, yeah.
It was JBL and Wade Barrett and my.
Oh, okay.
JBL. Okay.
Interesting. JBL. Huh. All right. More TNA WWE stuff there. Yeah, for sure. So.
I didn't even think of that. You're right.
So.
Also, I was going to say several people already saying Joe Hendry's name for the Rumble. Not even with what happened, at Genesis, but yeah, a lot of people, and I think that's a popular belief from many. Cole and Barrett, Michael and Wade. Oh, so JBL may have been a guest for part of it. I don't know if he was there the whole time.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because
and we missed the title change
tonight. Yeah, I was going to get to that in a minute.
Tonight.
Tag titles changed hand already.
Wow.
Again.
That didn't take long.
No, but when you see the team that won it, it makes sense.
It does.
Well, who was it? Because I missed it.
The Hurt Syndicate.
Hurt Syndicate. Oh, okay.
So it makes sense because obviously Shelton and Lashley are big, powerful dudes, and even Shelton, who never seemed like he never seemed huge in WWE as far as like literal size, even though he is.
Yeah.
Monster. He seems like a monster in AEW. It kind of sucks for Private Party because they feel like they did all that work to get them the titles and tell that story, and then I don't know if they really did enough with them afterwards. That's always across many companies. That's always the problem of once they win the titles, can you keep that momentum? And that was a no for them, and everyone loves the Hurt Syndicate. So.
But look at the bright side. It wasn't Brock Lesnar.
Well, we don't know what phone calls were attempted, so
yeah, that's true.
But it still wasn't Brock Lesnar. I'll take it.
Yeah,
I really did. Wow, I really didn't think I'd have any jokes tonight.
Come on, Tommy. Okay. When the cameras,
I'm serious. I really didn't.
When
think
the camera turns on, it's second nature to you.
Yeah, come on. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Upcoming events locally, obviously, from our guests last week, Kalitita, We know that Hybrid will be having their event February 15th.
They already have a lot of matches announced.
Yeah, including one that she seemed to call Mike out in particular.
Whoa, what?
Instagram story that, yes, she will be defending her championship at Hybrid.
So what I'm hearing is if you make enough noise and, ask that titles from a promotion actually be defended at said promotion, they're like, oh, maybe we should. So
how do you think San Antonio got to Ring of Honor got to San Antonio, Mike?
That's a good point.
How do you think Ring of Honor got to San Antonio?
Yeah.
I would not shut up.
You know what, Hybrid? You need Denise Day back on your show and Ray Perez. You know what I want to see besides Denise Day being beating Cali? That'd be pretty cool. I want to see like Ray Perez beating up Texas Treats. That would also be really cool.
Yes.
Oh,
I'd be cool with
look, I'm making a match right now. Denise and Ray versus Callie and David Teen. Book it. Look at that. Here we go.
Interesting.
There's a huge height difference there, but it's
I mean, there's a huge height difference with everyone versus Kelly and Tita, but we talk about that all the time.
That's true.
True.
RCW, of course, the next day has the Rumble Royale, and they've released their heart posters.
I think I don't remember if he mentioned the artist. I'm sure he did in the original post. But, these are awesome, man.
This is the men's one, obviously.
Yeah, if you go to their socials, you can see a lot of the wrestlers. A lot of them are very distinct. Casey was a little upset that he's getting RKO'd by Alex Arsenal right there in the front. You can see Pillars, you can see Jesse, you can see Bo, you can see Jacob Toa. The ring announcers, we talked about this on the post when it happened, looked like they're about to fight. We're not sure. Hopefully Carolina and Eliana are cool.
I'm going to throw this out there. Before the show, when they're just getting set up, they should recreate this as best as they can.
Some of these might be very hard to
I know, but I mean, it's just a thought.
I get what he means, though.
Same goes for the women's one, which is seen here as well. And it's funny with the women's one, the ring announcers seem a lot more cheerful.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
They worked out the
Looks like they're probably going to beat up Nastico, and that's cool. Also, why in the women's one is Nastico looking almost skinny? That's an artist. Taking liberties.
He paid the artist extra.
Also, Callie looks like she's over 5 feet. So again, artist taking some liberties there.
Yeah. But the poster pretty much gets an idea who's coming.
This is true, and I think he named a lot of names on the post too.
So this is pretty cool. I like this work. I wonder if this is going to be a trend for RCW this coming year. With the posters, so
done some posters. So I'm definitely looking to get both of these. I told my contacts make sure there's 2 saved for me. I'll pay for them.
Nice.
But yeah, and that's that same weekend in February. So the 15th, 16th, right after Valentine's Day. Hybrid and RCW.
Very cool. Very cool.
Angel, that's only when she's standing on that step ladder she used at ROWs. And
wow.
Angel, stop the lies. Just stop the lies right now.
All right. Well, let's discuss what went down at TNA Genesis. Now, full disclosure, I haven't seen the entire show. I got a hold of this after the fact, and I went straight to the main event because my son and I wanted to watch one match and one match only, my son being probably one of the bigger Joe Hendry fans that I know. And I had heard the results thanks to TikTok. But was able to watch the match in full. Didn't tell my son what I knew, and seeing his reaction was glorious live on the thread. So
that's fantastic.
I was going to say, knowing how bloodthirsty your son gets at matches, I thought it was going to be the Clockwork Orange match. He was like, "Yeah, beat each other up."
I don't know about that. So. As crazy as he gets sometimes, there's some things he just worries about. But I will say this: my wife and I were recommended to watch a movie that we watched ourselves. Like, the kids would love this, and they did. If you haven't seen Red One, and I know Christmas is over, that is a fantastic Christmas movie. It's a good movie. So, and was pleasantly surprised by it. The kids loved it too. I'm kind of hoping that becomes a new family tradition in the house because it was just so good. And obviously the wrestling ties with The Rock in it, but it's hilarious. But some of the
movie
results
was good despite of The Rock. Wow.
Yeah. So, results from this, though, Frankie Kazarian continues to kill it on the pre-show. That's becoming his thing with TNA right now. Always on the pre-show, always going. Moose retained the X Division title. Eric Young and Steve Macklin defeated the System. Spitfire retained the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Tessa Blanchard defeated Jordan Grace, which, as we mentioned, is more than likely Jordan Grace's last match in TNA, most likely WWE bound. Mike Santana defeated Josh Alexander. This was changed to an I Quit match, by the way, after last week's Impact. So this became an I Quit match. And it sounds from the post-match thing, this may have been Josh Alexander's last
Right.
match
I
in
was going to
TNA.
say that's what I had heard too.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Put over Mike Santana big with his words, so they could be priming Mike Santana to become the next big star with TNA. Hardys retained their World Tag Team Championships, and if I'm not mistaken, they were on NXT last night, right?
Who? Say it again.
The Hardys.
I don't remember seeing
I
that.
can't remember.
Okay, because TNA announced that they would be there last night. I didn't get to see
Chat
it, but-
was were the Hardys at NXT last night?
Yeah, so pretty sure. Masha Slamovich defeats Rosemary and Clockwork Orange match, and of course, finally pulling the trigger, Joe Hendry defeats Nick Nemeth. Ryan Nemeth was banned from ringside, but he did buy a ticket, if you will. And Joe Hendry is your new TNA World Champion. It's
Oh,
pretty
that was
awesome.
one thing, but I guess it's a good thing to throw it in here. So he went on Busted Open this week and basically called out John Cena.
Yes.
He did.
They
I saw
asked him
that.
flat out, who does he want to wrestle? And
Yeah.
it's John Cena. He wants a shot at him. And which is thinking with Joe Hendry as champion, Saturday Night Main Event this Saturday. And I know most of the TNA talent share has been NXT, TNA. Put the champion on WWE television, and it's not a Royal Rumble. Why can't he show up on Saturday Night Main Event? Maybe there's a segment with Cena. And why can't he show up and make it happen? Wouldn't mind seeing it, you know?
I agree.
Wouldn't hell, I don't know. It doesn't have to be a WrestleMania match. You can just give him a match along the road here. Could give him a match at Rumble. Could give him a match. Did they still do Chamber in February? Right? Yeah.
Probably.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a couple opportunities here.
And
but-
you know, a lot of people. No, you're right. And a lot of people have talked with Cena's like last year about, you know, facing some of his old opponents like Orton and Punk and all that, and then you know what new guys to put over. But like, you got one last year. Joe Hendry's at the height. You know, give him a match. Even if Cena beats him, you know, if they have a great match, you get a lot of rub on for Hendry if you do it, you know, on a big show. So,
but not
I
just
agree.
that. Cena's raps versus Joe Hendry's songs. I mean, yeah,
That'd
like
be
just
cool.
imagine the amount of promos you get from that, and then back and forth on TV. Now, obviously, and I forgot to mention this. Obviously, we do our shows on Wednesdays. Literally the next day, Thursday, last week, the announcement formally came out that WWE and TNA are in a partnership. I forget the
Yeah.
details. Is like what 2-3 years or something like that, or yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
so-
3 years, I think.
And my camera froze. Hang on a second.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
thought you were just detailed and you're locked in.
Yeah, let me see if I can switch the source here. Give me a second here. Anyway,
All right.
y'all can still hear me, right? So, all right.
Yep.
There we go.
So Angel had asked about any shows on the 8th, the week before,
Oh,
and apparently
I
this
don't think
is
anyone's
why-
touching that. So yeah,
yeah, we haven't seen any shows on the 8th. Like I said, sorry.
I think people know better now than to put anything on Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah,
You know,
That's the
so I mean, is what it is.
I don't know.
Unless Chris
I was
Sabin's
just gonna
gonna show
say, oh, what a great callback.
Oh man.
That joke's over 20 years old at this
So
point.
this working relationship, and the biggest thing I want to point out is Jordan Grace was really the first main star to put a tweet out after it, and she said flat out, Ultimate X needs to be a WrestleMania, or is going to be a WrestleMania. Mark my words.
I need
Yes.
that to happen.
I'm down.
She also gave Trinity a lot of credit for this partnership taking off.
Really?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, if you, on Twitter, she said this wouldn't have happened without Trinity.
Right.
Interesting.
Which I guess kind of makes sense that once she went to TNA, she still was friends with, you know, all
Everybody.
of WWE because everyone loved her.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I saw that too. That they gave her credit for allowing that to kind of come together. So,
That was pretty cool. Forgot about sports ball. You mean the Super Bowl, Angel? Okay.
Sports
But
ball.
WWE pulling the trigger. Joe Hendry's champion. And flat out, Nick Nemeth, I think Kylie said on our show last week too, he'll be champion multiple times, But this is a cool moment where they can ride with this. There's no shortage of challengers for Joe Hendry, both in and out of the company.
Yeah.
Obviously, Moose being the X Division champion, there's the option C option available at some point too. So
I saw one thing I forgot to.
He cashes it in on Cody Rhodes.
They're talking about TNA people potentially being at the Rumble, and Top Dollar responded too, because he just re-signed with the company.
Yeah,
like you never know, maybe they want me there, and I was like, I don't think they would.
No.
Dude, your biggest downfall is not being able to go over the top rope, bro. I'm sorry.
And
Michael. Oh, sorry, I was going to say Michael Cole would burn the hell of it in machine.
Yeah, he would.
Oh my God, he would. Michael Cole without Vince right now, the level of unrestricted he is.
You're not
hilarious. And
I also want to mention Kazarian currently holds
like,
the Call Your Shot trophy, so he can take a shot at him. And almost invoked it in the middle of the main event too, by the way. So, yeah, until JBL took him out. So, all right,
JBL's kind of story thing has been interesting.
It's been weird. He's defending Nick Nemeth. He's not defending Nick Nemeth. I mean, obviously, he took out
because he attacked Hendry. Did he attack Hendry at the first time Hendry got the shot? Like he attacked everybody, right?
Right.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
But he was there to take out Kazarian before he could cash in the Call Your Shot. But there was really, outside of that, there was no major interference in the match. As I mentioned, Ryan Nemeth was banned from ringside, so he only had a ticket, had to stay outside the railing. But the rest of the match was clean, which was great, at least for Henry's sake of it. There wasn't any sort of games or no weapons involved or chair shots or anything like that. So, but it was it was a great match, and it was away from the crowding achievement, obviously, for Joe Hendry, but it does suck because when he's celebrating, his entrance music is so short, they're just having to replay it over and over and over again. It's only like a minute long. So, but
a minute of greatness.
Obviously, we're not going to give a rating on this. I will say on our pick results, Kylie Tita went 2-2. Tommy went 4-4. So, see, Tommy, you and Kylie, stuff in common. You both went 500. And then Mike and I went 7-1 on Genesis. So
in the tag team match, did you go Ash by Elegance also, or did you just go stick with? I know me and you did.
We all did. That was the one we all got wrong. I think we all said the by Elegance team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was our miss. Mike, myself. So.
That's what I was thinking, but not bad.
But with this announcement, with what we know with Jordan Grace, Josh Alexander most likely leaving the company, who do you think will appear? Obviously, I said Joe Hendry, but who else could possibly appear on WWE television, not just NXT television, and vice versa?
You said Jordan Grace and Josh Alexander leaving. I know you said Rosemary's appeared in TNA several times. There was another, apparently, I don't know if it was a pre-show or a dark match. I don't know if you saw that one. That was Jake something defeated Ashante the Adonis.
That was a pre-show.
Okay, so Ashante the Adonis is an NXT talent too.
Okay.
So there's one going over, but it depends on what they want to do, because like Moose would be really cool showing up on WWE television. Yeah. I think that would be great.
Cora Jade, by the way, showed up after the Knockouts Championship match and had a little stare down moment
with Masha, right?
Yeah. So,
I think for now they probably want to keep Tessa away.
If they want to go full on heat, you make Tessa and Hulk Hogan mixed match challenge tag team.
Jesus Christ!
I mean,
God,
look.
JC, when you want to burn it down, you burn it down.
I mean, yeah, I'm a Seth Rollins on that thing, but
I was going to say that.
Let's face it, the cheap heat or the cheap pop is usually calling out the city, or in CM Punk's case, saying you're going to beat Hulk Hogan and throw him over the top rope, which was in a way a great way to get a pop at Raw nowadays, right?
Well, made me a fan of him again. So, I can't lie.
But with Tessa right now, obviously, fans have a lot to say or react about how she is. Obviously, she's going to be making a run at the Knockouts World Championship. You asked about the TNA World Championship thing. No, they did that once, and then shit got burned. It got burned down because of all this other stuff on her own fault. So I don't think they're going to put the face of the company on her like ever again. Maybe not for a very, very long time, or, unless she saves the family for a burning building or something like that. So, I
And
mean,
even then, no.
yeah, right.
Which community? Sorry.
But there's gonna be surprises at the Rumble. There could be surprises on Impact tomorrow in San Antonio. Could have some WWE NXT talent. Obviously,
True.
Cora Jade may be showing up, but we'll see who else shows up as well. So,
Yeah.
well, speaking of which, let's get into that. This week is a busy week of wrestling in San Antonio. Impact is going to be live at the Boeing Center at Techport tomorrow night. 6 p.m. start time, doors at 5. 6 p.m. for, I guess, when they start the show, like pre-show and stuff. And then I think they go live on Anthem at 7. On Access, excuse me. And then Friday night, they're taping episodes of Impact. They're going to be starting that at 7 o'clock, doors at 6. And then, of course, Saturday at the Frostbank Center at 7 p.m. Central Time on NBC and Peacock is Saturday night's main event. So, and we got a pretty decent card for Saturday main event too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there's going to be this. It's crazy. All the talent from both these companies is in town. Where's SmackDown this week, by the way? I didn't even look that up. Dallas, I assume?
It's a good question.
Probably somewhere in Texas, you would think.
Dallas or Houston? I'm not sure. But
I was like, today, I'm telling you, I keep having to think of what today is.
yeah,
because we started on a Wednesday. So I was like,
Yeah.
today, wait, so SmackDown's in 2 days. That's the 24th.
Yeah.
Anybody find it yet?
I think Tommy's looking.
I'm looking. It's
Awesome.
in Austin.
Okay. I mean, that's not too far. If they want to do something live, drive to Austin for SmackDown, come back down,
Yeah.
So this potentially just between Impact, SmackDown, and Saturday Night Main Event this week, there's going to be a lot of talent movement, a lot of talent share, I think, and be very interested to see what happens with this.
Yeah, like you said, but with everyone being here, and even with SmackDown being up there Friday, like it just seems so easy. Even if it's NXT talent, which is still kind of fun, like we joked about, hey, throw Ren on a TNA showing or TNA tapings because back here in town, if they would dare to bring her up over, I'm assuming she's still in. Well, was NXT on the road this week, or were they still in?
They were still at the
Okay.
Center.
Because I know they've done some shows on the road, but yeah. So I mean, why not? And then also the flip side of that for us is what local or Texas talent may show up in any of these things. I remember when they were announced a while ago, some talent mentioning they may be involved, and I know. Was it at the show? There's some hybrid talent, I believe, being involved with TNA stuff. Whether that's, on the show or just kind of backstage stuff.
Ring crew or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's definitely not all of them, but there's a handful. So be interested to see what talent shows up. I think Jay Alexander for Overkill did stuff for them up in Dallas for Genesis. Did they have tapings around that, or was it just Genesis in Dallas?
I think it was just Genesis.
So I think Jay Alexander, and I'm sure there were some other people from those schools up there. So, that's the other part of it for us. Is, do we get some local people on anything? So,
anybody watching with us live, like, are you attending any of these events? Let me know. Let me know what you're looking forward to. The first Impact with Joe Henry's champion, and it's live, which is great. Like, he's probably going to be opening the show, and you can imagine that pop for sure. Matches at Saturday Night Main Event, we got Gunther defending his title against Jey Uso, Braun Breaker defending the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus, Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu, and Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax.
So I gotta say, I'm really interested in Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu because for the most part, everything Jacob's done has either been involved in multi-team, like tag matches or triple threats, team matches, or he comes in to beat people up after the fact.
Right.
So I know they teased him and Braun Breaker a couple months or a month or two ago. I don't know. Time means nothing to me anymore. They had that little tease, but this one, Strowman and Fatu, like, I completely suspect Jacob will go over, but it's still Strowman, so he's still going to get some things in. I think, obviously, not a technical masterpiece, but in the words of Big E, as we always say, big sweaty man slapping meat. That should be very interesting. So Angels go to Saturday Night Main Event, so she's also going to get to see that. And like she said earlier, Rhea's in town, mommy. It's against Nia Jax. And as much as Nia's been much better in this run in WWE, I assume mommy's just going to eventually throw her down. So,
you're not sure you want to go to TNA. I would recommend going. There might be more names there than you realize, And like I said, with this talent show, who knows who's going to show up? It's a live show, too. You just never know what's going to happen. So I think if we're back and forth, you might as well try it. Because the way they're doing Impact nowadays, you may not get a live Impact for a long time. So,
yeah, definitely not live.
Saturday Main Event is also going to feature a contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens for their ladder match at the Royal Rumble. It's going to be moderated by Shawn Michaels.
Oh, so that's his involvement.
Yeah.
Oh, on the downside of that, it was reported a couple of weeks ago that Hogan's supposed to be there in some capacity too. So,
oh Jesus!
Hopefully they'll keep that like backstage or in some sort of pre-taped thing, because he may get a slightly better reception here, but I don't know. I still think he'll get pretty widely booed here.
Yeah, we're pretty tough critics here when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Hopefully he doesn't try to share his heart with everyone or anything like that. So.
Yeah.
Well, people in my skin color feel about him, so whatever. Funny part was Hogan used to be Hood certified. He really did.
And then he started talking outside of character, and it all went to hell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's kind of what's going on. It's a busy week, a lot to talk about, and it's pretty awesome. So, and short show, it's time to move on to the 1 minute warning segment here.
Oh dear God.
Yeah,
wow.
It's not a kind of show. Crazy, right? I mean, I'm saving it because next week is going to be a lot to talk about with the Rumble, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll try and get Tina on the show if she can. So we'll see what happens.
Cool.
Mike, do you have something this week?
Sure.
All right. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
Okay. So I know obviously the week before we'll talk more about this in depth, and I know next week is the WWE Rumble, but I just got to say, I really enjoy all the different battle royals we're going to be seeing over the next few weeks. Mm-hmm. The Rumble itself has obviously been one of my favorite pay-per-views for a while, just because the Rumble is fun. Most of them have been pretty good. I think there was a couple there toward the end of the He Should Not Be Named era where they kind of sputtered, but for the most part, they've been great. The women's Rumbles have been a great introduction. I guess, we'll talk about this too, what TNA talent may show up for the women. Because remember, there was like that second or third year of the Women's Rumble where they didn't have enough. So like half of it was bringing back. But they obviously have a much bigger roster, plus NXT, plus TNA. So that should be fun. And then the RCW one, a 30-man Rumble and a 20-woman Rumble. We showed the posters earlier. Those look to be...
Well, 19 women in the Beast, that's Morgan Mercy.
Well... I mean, I don't mean to insult anyone, so yes. No. I know.
What the hell are you talking about?
I mean, with what I originally said. Yeah. So you're right.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I look forward to those. Be interesting. I will say this: we talk about more on the week. It is at the event center, which seems slightly less roomy than the gym at Good Shepherd for something like this.
True.
But there's going to be 50 wrestlers at least. Plus other matches, I'm sure there'll be a couple other matches involved.
Man, Brandon does not like having
no.
Hey, it's not Hope of Glory Church, right? I mean, that was tiny. Can you imagine trying to run this show there? Yeah.
Good God.
No.
Anyways, but let's also see what goes on with all the RCW titles. Like we specifically had ideas for the women's titles involvement. So we'll see what comes out over the next few weeks. I love Rumbles. They're great and they're fun, and that's why they used to do them at all the old shows, like back in the territory days. Like Battle Royals was such a draw, and they're fun. So
yeah.
Man, can you imagine trying to do a Rumble in that damn small?
Which one? The
Hope of Glory or
Hope of
Church
Glory.
Champions? Yeah.
Dude, okay, you know what I thought about the
God.
other day? It's like, okay, I when we were there, we were like, you guys were, I was in my 20s and everything, and it was fine, it was hot, but I think if I went in that building now in my late 30s, I think I would die in that building before we did. I would have to carry like a case of water with me to stay hydrated. I think I would pass out.
You would have to move the show from in that little hall to the actual church at that point. I mean, let's just be honest with you. It's going to have to go that way.
God, how do we fit so many people in there? There are like 200 to 250 people in there.
There's a lot of Mexicans in this town. We figure out a way. That's just what we do. So
I am so glad I said nothing like that. I'm glad it was the Mexican who said it, not the black
you get to say things we don't get to say.
There's certain things you get to say.
Right, exactly.
You get to say. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. So
it is what it is.
Tommy, you got something this week?
Actually, I do. I thought of it while my
I give ideas.
All right, I'll go.
You do actually. You know what?
Okay,
You
can we'll go for it, Tommy.
No, but you actually did. So I know everyone's excited about this TNA WWE deal, and I am too. Here's what I'll say: be careful of being a victim of your own success. AEW is kind of going through that transition right now, which I think they'll come out of it. I think one thing is having like guys like the Hurt Business and Adam Copeland there and everything, but be careful of your own success because this is a good thing managed right. It could be a monumental thing for the wrestling business. Just be careful because I have a ton of homegrown talent that you had NXT. You got guys like Oba Femi, Jada Parker, and Kalani Jordan who are just killing it right now. All I'll say is don't put them in the back seat just because you want to give TNA people a chance to shine. Not saying that you can't shuffle things around, and of course they don't get as much TV time, but don't neglect them entirely. Don't push them out of the way entirely. And but this is to all companies. Becoming a victim of your own success is very easy. When everything's riding high, you think you can do it all. Sometimes things just happen. So I'll just say, I still love all of wrestling. I'm very Killer Cash with this right now because he's been on a I Love Wrestling tirade lately, and I love it. But it's just like, hey, it's good, it's fantastic, but keep your head about it. Just keep your head about it. It's all good. Yep.
Angel's so short I barely got to pick it all. Yeah. No, it's not short. It's not a big agenda today. So,
And she had to work in calling me old man Tommy.
She's done that multiple times, so just don't feel bad.
But I mean, she had to work it in, she does it if she doesn't meet her quota, she loses a check. You know what I'm saying? It's like she does it so much to the point it's like, oh shoot, I didn't say Tommy's old. Oh man, I ain't gonna get paid this week. Yes. That's how she does it to me.
Yes.
I love how no one disputing me on that because everyone knows it's true.
All right. For mine this week, there's just a couple of things. First of all, obviously with this big relationship between WWE and TNA, I want to say, can we get AJ Styles either making an appearance in TNA or coming out at WWE with his old TNA music? Wouldn't that be awesome? Especially because he's in the twilight of his career. Aside from that, though, I wanted to say something that just kind of recently hit. PWI released their year-end awards for 2024. Obviously, these are voted on by subscribers. Wrestler of the Year, Cody Rhodes. Woman of the Year, Toni Storm. Tag Team of the Year, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Faction of the Year, The Bloodline. This is both OG and the New Bloodline. Match of the Year, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Feud of the Year, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Most popular wrestler popular wrestler of the year is Cody Rhodes. Most hated wrestler of the year, this is an easy one, Dominic Mysterio. Comeback of the year, Liv Morgan. Most improved wrestler of the year, Mariah May. Indie wrestler of the year, Mustafa Ali. Inspirational wrestler of the year, Cody Rhodes. Rookie of the year, Kalani Jordan. And four recipients for the Stanley Weston Award for Lifetime Achievement, Booker T, Mickey James, Dave Meltzer, and Gail Kim.
Interesting.
Cool.
So, can we get Gail Kim again in the Women's Rumble this year? I know never say never thing, but
or can't she just referee? Or can't she just be there and we look at her? I mean,
referee cool, but I think it would be great to see her in that. I mean, because they never had it when she was there. Vince is long gone, so with what she had to say about Jordan Grace, you mentioned Trinity is kind of a lot to do with this. Just get it one time, So one time, people, one time.
So, are you a fan of hers, or
just a little bit? So.
I kind of got that feeling.
Now I know why. I was gonna say. I mean, he always chooses it, but now I know why he chose the liner this week.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Texas top
100.
got
I was
released
thinking
the
about
other
that
day,
once you
and-
mentioned that list, but I don't know if we wanted to go into that today.
We can talk about it next week if you guys will put it on the agenda for sure.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah, we can do it.
look at
Yeah.
it.
Give us time to look
I'll
through
send
it.
to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
But apparently, it has caused some
Well,
divisiveness.
Doesn't
among
our
the
list
fans,
always do
which is
that?
sad.
Jesus.
Yeah, and honestly, it was Stan who was the main guy there, but they just asked for people to send in names and stuff. So, you send in people's lists, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But
I don't envy the
Yeah, I was
people that
gonna
put
say,
this together. It's a lot of research.
No, I don't either. That's trying to pick Texas talent is a
Yeah.
all-day
Yes.
thing.
There's always the whole, they're better here in Dallas, and when really they're actually better here in San Antonio.
Yeah, there really is. But at the same time, though, you have to remember, like, it's like when you're there, like, I think everyone has to remember they're putting this list together. These are like the guys who do it are guys who make more of these towns than even like I do, and I think I go to a lot of wrestling. So
are you sure?
So I think so.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was possible, but okay, I'll believe you.
No, they man, look, they outshine me.
All right.
No one
Well,
outside can tell me.
Thank you everybody for joining us on this week's episode of the WrestleCast. I know it's a short one, but hey, we gotta next week might be a long one with the Rumble and everything. Speaking of which, yeah, there it is. Next week we're gonna preview the WWE Royal Rumble. If any major news comes out of what happens the next few days with Impact and Saturday Main Event and SmackDown, we'll talk about that as well for sure. So, and I'll see if I can.
Did you just say this?
Oh no, that I was PWI. I wasn't doing.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I did see her with an
yeah.
award, and I was on a post, and I was trying to figure out what that was.
That is
That's
pretty
cool.
awesome.
So good for him.
I'm proud of her.
And she's all celebrating too because her Washington Commanders are in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Pulled off a hell of an
Dude,
upset.
so someone I know said that they're planning that they have them going all the way.
I mean, now there's a good chance.
That's
I mean,
what someone
They beat
told-
my
someone
pick to
told me
win it
that.
all.
Someone-
I've been thinking the Lions were going to. The Lions.
Who?
I thought the Lions
Yeah.
preseason were going to win it all. So.
The Lions I thought had a solid shot
So.
too.
Thank you everybody for watching and joining us. The live chat's always great. Again, next week we'll talk about the Rumble. So come in with your picks. Come in with who you're surprised are going to be. Should be a fun one too. Yeah. Not much else to say too. Just enjoy the wrestling this weekend in San Antonio, guys.
There you go.
Indeed. I'm gonna go suck down allergy medicine and pass out.
These things don't happen very
Go do
often.
that.
We get all this, yeah. So, over there, sick as a dog. We got Tommy. We got
Thanks,
Mike.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. As always, heels and baby faces. Remember, pro wrestling is real.
People. I thought you were gonna sneeze, so I was like, wait. Fake. Boom.
Yeah, reach for the sky.
Adios, Gunther. Na, 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 na.